Our best advice about living in Prosper, Texas.
You've got one mission. Figure out if Prosper is truly the right place for you.
But here's the catch. Most realtors only tell you the positive about living in Prosper, Texas. We're here to tell you all the facts.
But before we get started, I'm Holly Haven.
And I'm Andy Haven.
And we are the Haven Home Team. We are your North Texas real estate professionals.
We've helped countless families move to Prosper, and we are here to tell you the good, the bad, and the deal breakers.
By the end, you'll know if you've won the Prosper game or if it's game over.
Location and commute in regards to Prosper, Texas. So Prosper is just north of Dallas in Collin County, one of the largest and fastest growing counties in the state of Texas.
Absolutely. It is really centrally located. We always talk about our location to Dallas, but the great thing about Prosper is its location to Frisco.
Yes, and that is something that a lot of people, they move to Prosper and well, there's not really a lot of shopping. There's not really a lot of restaurants, but guess what? You can get to Frisco in 10 minutes and you have every single thing you need.
Yeah, we have great access to the Dallas Tollway, which is really going to be your main hub for north and south. And it is a paid toll road, obviously, but it is pretty fast. It gets you to Plano for really nice high-end shopping in the Legacy area in 15 to 20 minutes pretty easily. Get you to DFW Airport, take the tollway to 121, and you can be at DFW Airport in about 30 minutes. And then Love Field is about 35 to 40 minutes straight down the tollway.
Well, and then you can also get to Fort Worth fairly easily right off of 121. That's going to take you about an hour and 15 minutes. So it is a little bit of a further drive, but Fort Worth is something that's really fun for a weekend getaway or a day trip. Go watch the cattle drive and see all the fun things that Texas really has to offer. Even though you feel like you're in Texas, this isn't really the Texas vibe you were hoping for, maybe. So Fort Worth has all of that and some cool bars and restaurants that are Western themed that y'all should check out.
Yeah, and not a terrible commute. So getting to downtown Dallas, getting to Fort Worth, or getting to the airport so that you can commute out of town, all pretty simple, centrally located right here from Prosper.
You can also take Preston, which is going to be a obviously free road. It's not a highway, but it will get you the same distance as the tollway. It might take you a little bit longer. Yes, there's going to be red lights, but you can get there for free.
Absolutely. We also want to mention Highway 380.
Yes, possibly the biggest construction project in the world. I mean, I would have to think it is in the world.
It feels like it's been going on forever. So Highway 380 really runs east and west. And if you live on the west side of Prosper, we just have this little caveat. We like to tell our clients about it. If they're moving in, they're not familiar. Highway 380 has a ton of red lights. There is a lot of growth and infrastructure happening in this area. So they are building overpasses and true highway passage in that area, but right now it's a lot of congestion, a lot of red lights. So just kind of be aware of it. Know that it is going to get better, but your travel time is really going to be based on traffic and who else is on the road.
Well, and we also have to kind of point out that on that side of town, you also have Denton. Denton is a very, very large town. There's 2 colleges in Denton. It's also right off of Highway 35. So that's something that people are going that way because they live that way. They live in a big city. Denton is a very large city compared to some of our other cities. So that is why that side of town has more congestion than obviously the McKinney side of 380.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be a deal breaker for most people, but we do want you to know about it because it is the most congested area getting in and out of Prosper, just right there along that little passageway. Yeah.
Prosper is known for its family-friendly lifestyle and activities outdoors. There's lots of things coming up in Prosper right now that are really cool to see since we've been here forever. There's finally going to be some new baseball stadiums, some more, I think it's public baseball fields. They just put in some new soccer fields. They put in pickleball courts, basketball courts, parks, walking areas, some new ponds that are really cool. So it kind of gives families more options than Prosper had to offer before. Yeah. And I believe now, what are we looking at with growth for stuff like that?
The great thing about the way Prosper has been kind of built out is most of the communities within the community are offering their own parks and playgrounds and dog parks and walking trails and bike trails. So you probably don't even have to leave your neighborhood to go get all of those things that you're looking for. So you're definitely going to be able to find plenty of parks and playgrounds and outdoor space and lots of really cool outdoor events. I do a really big 4th of July event every year, which is a lot of fun. And then in the downtown Prosper area, there are several different events throughout the year that kind of bring the community together. I've seen cornhole tournaments, pickleball tournaments, lots of events and activities being just kind of planned all through Prosper.
Yeah, and a lot of the bars and restaurants in downtown Prosper come together and do like big group events. So they all like to sponsor stuff. There's lots of big land sponsors and big small businesses is what I was going to say in Prosper that sponsor a lot of these big events. So it's really cool. They have some concerts down at the Gin. Just a lot of cool community events that are a little bit different than other towns that Prosper has to offer.
Yeah, and you've mentioned that the dining and shopping, which is great because that's kind of our next little topic is dining and shopping options in Prosper. So I like to start with the dining options. I'm going to say the bar options. That's really my preference. So the dining options, we have some really cool stuff that has been opening just over the last year and then the last few months. We've seen a ton of growth in the downtown area and then that Gates of Prosper area. So in the way of big box stores, you know, there's Texas Roadhouse and you're getting an Outback, I think has just opened, an Outback Steakhouse.
There's a Shakertons.
Yeah, Gloria's, lots of different options kind of in that general vicinity right there on Preston. But then when you get to the downtown area, you're going to get the Gin, which is a family-owned restaurant and bar with live music pretty much every weekend. The Tavern is a new downtown bar, kind of pool tables and, you know, TVs, just a really cool atmosphere. There's Black Hawk Brewery. There is a new speakeasy opening up downtown. So we have some really cool, fun options down there in the way of dining. And in the way of shopping, what are we seeing in the way of shopping for Prosper?
Yeah, so currently they're actually building a new addition to Gates of Prosper. So we're going to get a Nordstrom Rack. We're getting an REI, a Carhartt, Total Wine, which is really exciting. I mean, we do have some liquor stores, but Total Wine is one of my favorite liquor stores. It's just so easy to navigate. It's a really, really good liquor store. So that one is going to be really nice when that comes soon. We currently have Ulta, we have Sephora, we have Home Goods, TJ Maxx, all of the basic stores that you need.
Don't forget.
We do have a Target.
Guys, it took us years to get a Target. And then, you know, people have been over the moon since it opened. So we have a Target.
How could I forget Target?
Exactly. So the good news is we used to have to leave Prosper to do all of our shopping, all of our dining.
Even just basic shopping.
Yeah, like a grocery store.
Well, and now we have a Kroger and a Walmart, and we're actively getting in a Costco just right outside of Prosper.
Actually, there's one on the West End.
Okay, yes, there is one on the West End, almost in Aubrey. And then we are also getting an H-E-B currently in Prosper, actually in the city of Prosper, which is so exciting. That one should be probably opening by the end of the year.
Yeah, those retail options have really allowed us to stay closer to home, not go spend our money in the other cities that are nearby so that our tax dollars also get to stay in Prosper, which is really nice. Prosper ISD is also a highly rated school district. So they serve over 21,000 students with over 21 campuses.
It's pretty crazy, and they're actively growing. We are currently waiting on a 4th high school to be built, Richland High School, which will be awesome. We're also waiting on a new middle school to be built out on the the west side of town. I apologize. Mosley Middle School will be built soon, and that will help out with some of the crowding that we're seeing in our high schools and our middle school, specifically at Prosper High School. It's going to be a huge breath of fresh air for a lot of those teachers and students whenever they get Richland open. So that's really nice. And I think Prosper's growth is looking really good with the schools that they're building. It seems that they are trying to be proactive with all of the growth, and they're trying to open schools as fast as humanly possible. So if that's something you see as a concern, it is something that they're trying to keep up with.
Yeah, you're still going to see quite a bit of rezoning when a new school is opened. So, you know, you see a whole group of kids within a neighborhood suddenly get picked up and moved to a different school. Just know in advance, all of the schools are highly rated. We have good class size ratios of approximately 15 to 1 on average. Ranked number 94 out of 100 in the school districts of Texas.
And something that a lot of people from out of state don't know or aren't aware of is that our ISD line zoning does not change. So if you are zoned to Prosper ISD, you will always be zoned to Prosper ISD until somebody tells me differently 20 years from now. That could change, but currently that has never been an issue. You will not go from Prosper ISD to Salina ISD in the same house that you're living in.
Yeah, and we make that point because we've actually had clients who come from different states, different parts of the country, and that is not the way that it works there. Their ISDs can actually change. That is not the case here. If you think you've moved into Prosper city limits, but you're looking for Prosper ISD, you want to make that confirmation because our city lines and our school districts are all intermingled. The district is what you're looking for when you're looking for those specific ISDs. So just kind of a little note there because it is different in different parts of the country.
The housing and cost of living in Prosper is something that a lot of people I think are curious about, especially when moving here because they hear oh my gosh, the homes are $1 million plus, which is fairly accurate, but it's actually only, the cost of living is only 2% higher than the national average. So on average, your home prices are going to be higher, but the cost of living is not going to be much higher than many other areas.
Yeah, and so it's interesting when you just kind of mention that, because the average home in Prosper, we're sitting right at $1 million, and that average for DFW, the whole Metroplex, is about $388,000.
Yeah.
So you can see that massive jump. We see McKinney closer to the $5 to $550 mark as being their median. You know, Salina is going to be more like that $6 to $650 mark. So Prosper is definitely sitting in there in its own little pocket of higher priced homes. There are other price points in Prosper. Don't let it scare you. You can definitely get into Prosper and Prosper ISD for under $1 million, but we do want you to be aware that that is where we're seeing that kind of cost of living number is really inflating things more than, you know, your groceries aren't necessarily more expensive in Prosper. Your gas isn't more expensive. It's really that housing cost.
Yeah, and I think some of these new neighborhoods are what's driving the price up. There's a new neighborhood coming to Prosper. In the next few months, I believe they're actually breaking ground on a neighborhood that starts at $1 million. So that'll be very interesting. They know that that's what the people of Prosper would like.
And then when we talk about the high cost of houses, we're talking about lifestyle, really. Yeah. So we have to look at the things like the neighborhood amenities that are being offered, which is going to increase the value of that property.
Yes.
So Windsong Ranch is the one that always comes to mind.
Yeah, that is a huge master plan community. It is very beautiful. There's a private lagoon in the neighborhood. It's a really, really cool place to go and bring friends and family. That also brings me to Light Farms, which is a very similar concept, but not as over the top. I feel like I do feel like Light Farms is
the lagoon in Windsong is what really makes it feel like it's massively different, because it has a very resort feel, whereas Light Farms has all of these cool amenities without the lagoon, but you kind of get everything else.
And I also think that brings people into the community to see what the community's like, and I think it also brings in new buyers. So whenever homes are available, people come into the Nook, they see they like the environment, the vibe. There's also an elementary school in both neighborhoods, Windsong and Light Farms. So I think both are very comparable, but it is crazy how a lot of these high amenity neighborhoods are taking over in the North Texas area.
Yeah, and a lot of that is if we have somebody moving in from out of state and we're showing them homes in Light Farms and Windsong, people almost fall in love with them immediately. And if we take a buyer and they're looking and it's, you know, school pickup time, golf carts everywhere, only parents in golf carts in the school line, pretty much picking up kids. It is just a very different vibe than a lot of other master plan communities. So those are the two that probably sit the highest on our list for big master plan communities. And that's really based on our buyers' feedback, even more than anything. Yeah.
And both of these neighborhoods are still building very, very, very limited qualities, but they do have some build options if you are kind of flexible on your price point.
And then we do have a little bonus tip. Because Prosper has always been really marketed and sold as a big family-friendly community, which it is with high-rated schools and all the things that we mentioned, but we also have some 55 and older options within Prosper, which is really great, because when we have families move in from out of state, a lot of times their parents, grandparents, friends, family want to move in as well. So having these 55 and older options inside the town of Prosper makes it a really great option for families like that are trying to make that move together. And that neighborhood really would be Ladera.
Yeah, and it's a really great centrally located neighborhood. It's right off of Custer, so it's right on the edge of Prosper and McKinney, so you can really get anywhere. And it's awesome because, again, it's really kind of, I think, allowing for different types of people to move into the community, and it's not just so family focused as it used to be.
Yeah, and it's great. You know, I'm not quite to that 55 age yet, but because my kids are grown up and out of the house, I don't necessarily seek out a neighborhood with a lot of community pools and parks and playgrounds, right? I'm looking for different things, and it's just great that this is a new addition to Prosper. It's just been open the last couple of years, and there's still lots of really great options in there to even build from the ground up. So yeah, I think we've covered everything. If we left you guys or created any questions for you, we would love for you to drop those comments down below, or feel free to reach out to us at any of our social medias listed. Like, subscribe, come back and see us each week.
Yeah, every Friday we have a new video, and we will see you in our next one. Bye guys.